Born November the 12th, 1927.
How did you get that name, Richard Boston?
My aunt gave me that name.
Was that somebody in your family?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
And I never went by it until I went into service. I went by RV all my life until I went to service. Went to service in Richard. And I never got used to when they say Richard to answer.
Tell me, so how old are you today?
96.
96. You're a spry man for 96.
You're the best looking 96-year-old I believe I've seen.
You fellas bragging on me now.
Tell me a little bit what you remember about tell me what your mom and dad's names was, and if you had any brothers and sisters.
There was 12 in my family.
Really?
I had 6 boys and 6 girls. And it had 2 sets of twins. And one set of twins was a boy and a girl, and the boy was stillborn. So that left us 7 children to raise.
Well, tell me your mom and dad's name.
My dad's name was John Russell, and my mother's name was Ollie Jonathan Russell.
Jarnigan.
Yes.
Tell me your brothers and sisters' names if you can remember them all.
Junior was Olson, Kenneth was next, Willis was next, Lennox was next, and I was next. Then Arvana was a girl, set of twins, Becky and Betsy. Then Elizabeth. Then another set of twins, Lois and Lewis. And Lewis was the boy who died.
When you were born, where was your family living at?
Coalfield.
Coalfield.
Yeah.
Did your dad work in the mines, or did he have a farm, or what did he do?
Dad worked for the county. He was a foreman of the road. He worked in the mines some, but most of he got a job with the county and was a foreman on the road department.
So your mama stayed home and took care of all them kids and kept the house?
12. My mother would get up in the morning, cook a big breakfast, then she'd put on lunch. Or we get through eating lunch, she'd have to start right in after lunch, start cooking something. So many of the people.
When did she wash clothes if she was doing all that cooking?
About 3 times a week. and beat it all, she done it all by hand. And the cooking there wasn't electricity. She wasn't working on the coal stove.
Yeah.
Wood stove.
Let me ask you, do you remember your grandparents at all?
I remember 2 of them, yeah, both sets.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you remember their names?
One of them was Spence Jonigan and Bale Jonigan. That was on my mother's side.
Okay.
And my other one was Madison Russell and Martha Russell on daddy's side.
So were all those folks out toward Morgan County?
All of them right there in Coalfield.
Did you start out in Coalfield school?
Yeah.
How far did you go in school?
I was through high school.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you finish up in Coalfield or Oliver Springs?
Coalfield.
Did you?
Yeah.
What year did you go in the military?
1950.
1950. How long did you stay in?
21 months. I was drafted in during the Korean War. And took my basic training in Camp McCoy, Wisconsin, where it was snow on the ground from 6 inches to knee deep all the way through basic training. I left there and went to Fort Sill, Oklahoma to school for 13 weeks. Come back to Camp McCoy, Wisconsin. That's where I took my basic. I'd never been home, never got a vacation home, the furlough home up then. You got to come home 2 days, got a telegram to report back to the base. Report back to the base, picked up my order to go to Korea. I went to Korea in 1950. I was in Sound and Flash. I was forward observer of Korea.
Let's back up just a little bit. When you were younger and you all lived out in Coalfield, what was the name of the school you went to? Coalfield Elementary School?
Yeah, this is Coalfield.
Did you have to walk, or did you all have a bus to walk?
Walk. Yeah.
So you wasn't far from the school?
No, I walked home for lunch even.
Did y'all come to Oliver Springs very much?
It was a treat to come to Oliver Springs.
Treat to come to Oliver Springs. Well, let me ask you, when you were growing up and you come to Oliver Springs with your mom and dad, do you remember any of the older stores and the name of them, or any places you all might have went?
Oh, we were in stores at Coalfield with V.N. Jones, Bertie Jones' grocery store. Sam Jackson had a grocery store, and Evan Adcock had a grocery store. There's 3 grocery stores. One place to buy gas. That was Bertie Jones' store.
Did y'all have a car when you was growing up?
No, no.
You remember the first car you ever had?
I remember, yeah. It was a pickup truck.
Did the do you remember the depot at Coalfield?
Yeah.
And the trains that went through there?
Yeah, there was 2 depots there. The train run every day from Harriman to Peach Rocks. And that's how they delivered the mail back then. Delivered the mail to the post, the depot train. Then the train would go on and go up to Brushy Mountain Penitentiary. Then it'd come back.
Were the depots on the same line? Or two different lines?
Same line, yeah. Same line.
When you were growing up, what was the first job you ever remember having besides helping your dad or helping your mom at the house? Did you ever have a job doing anything?
Just one summer, part of summer, they would clean the right away there. And my uncle got the job of cleaning. He hired a bunch of us boys to help him clean the right away for the TVA.
Okay, let's go back. When you said coming to Oliver Springs was a treat, what did you do when you come to Oliver Springs?
Well, that wasn't the one thing to do for a long time. That was theater there where they come to theater.
So you used to come and go to movie?
Yeah, yeah. Let me tell you this on the
okay,
movie.
you keep.
Okay, back then you go in and you give you a ticket, they tear it too, give you half of it, they keep half of it. All right, then you go in and they didn't have the setup where they could show the whole movie. They'd have intermission. They'd have to change the film about halfway through the movie, put a film on. And while they're doing that, they call a number. They take your number and tell you to keep it. They had a thing up there, had 12 things on the board, 12 things like that. And they would $50 check behind one of them things. And if they called your number and you went up and pulled that off, you got it. So they called my number, called my number, and I went up there and pulled it off, pulled off $50.
And you got a $50?
I was rich.
Now, was that at the old theater down here in the garage?
Before the garage is.
And you got $50 one time?
Yeah, I was rich.
That's pretty good. Well, listen, when you all would come to Oliver Springs and when you were growing up and going to school, do you remember any of the friends that you had out there in Coalfield, their names? Do you remember any of them that maybe you went to elementary school or high school? Any friends you had, close friends out in Coalfield?
From Coalfield?
Yeah. Well, tell me some of them.
Okay, Carl Thornton, Junior Thornton, Herbert Thornton, Cecil Jackson.
You went to school with Cecil Jackson?
Yeah, Cecil Jackson.
Okay.
And Herman Jackson, Lottie B. Justice.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Do you remember any of your teacher's name, whether it was in elementary school or high school?
Yeah.
Tell me some of them.
Ruby Rochelle, Georgia Jones, Louise Jackson, Marjorie Jackson, Ross Wilson, Paul Owens.
Okay, you're doing good. Let me ask you something. When y'all were living out there in Coalfield, did you go to church anywhere?
Went to Pleasant Grove.
Pleasant Grove.
My family didn't go, but the kids did.
Kids did. Okay, that's good. When did you meet Miss Imogene?
I told her she played ball and I played. She played ball all. She was a good basketball player.
You played ball at Coalfield?
Football and playing each other and got to know her. But I didn't date her till I come out of school. I come out back from the Army. I started dating.
Was she living in Oliver Springs at the time?
Yeah. She was living in the house I live in now.
She was?
That's her home place, yeah.
So after you got out of the service in the 50s, you started dating Miss Imogene.
Yeah.
Do you remember what year you got married in?
Yeah, 53.
Got married in 53. And you've got 2 daughters, right?
Right.
What's their names?
Gretchen and Tammy. Tammy Oates and Gretchen Youngster.
And what's your grandson's name?
I got one grandson.
You got two, don't you?
Have three.
Three, that's right.
My oldest daughter had a boy and a girl. The boy was Brent Barger, and the girl was Brooke Barger. And
there you go.
Gretchen had one. His name was Jonathan.
Jonathan, right. Do you remember anything about the Richardson when they all got murdered?
Yeah.
Was you in the service or home?
I'm home. But,
what do you remember about that? Anything?
All I remember is what I read.
Uh-huh.
About yeah.
Well, was that house destroyed when you remember a whole lot of things, or do you remember that house sitting up there?
I remember the house sitting up there. The house wasn't destroyed. They thought they destroyed the house and they built a veteran
building up there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever go in that house?
No. But I'll tell you this, my brother-in-law, Joe Ray, was one of the boys that the teacher sent up there to check on him and see what she went to school.
Joe Ray Davis?
Yeah. He was one of the boys.
Did he ever tell you anything about it?
Yeah, but I don't remember what it was. I read some of it.
I didn't talk a little bit about the Davis family.
Let's talk a little bit about the Davis family.
Okay.
Tell me anything about him you want to talk about. Who the mom and dad was, or
The Lawrence Davis was the daddy. And he was crippled, arthritis. He was bent over. He couldn't straighten up. He's been over. He's that way for years.
now this is Joe Ray's dad.
Yeah.
What was Joe Ray's mama's name?
Bertie.
Bertie. Now how many kids did they have?
Let's see. 4 boys and 2 girls.
Do you remember all of them's names?
Yeah.
Tell me their names.
Jack, Joe Ray, Alan, Imogene, Shirley, and David.
David, okay.
And 7, I believe.
Cut me out a little bit.
Some of the people, did you ever go to the Presbyterian church at Pearl Harbor?
Yeah. Not long, but I've been there.
I know when I was growing up, it was a pretty good church. I mean,
Yeah.
Sunday
It was a
and
big church. It was. I remember when you couldn't park the Warford. It's just many cars there on Sunday.
Yeah.
For the church.
Yeah,
And
they covered that street up there. Most
Yeah.
of them.
And one of them was the one that had the best group that I remember. He was school teacher.
The preacher
Yeah.
was a school teacher.
But I don't remember his name. I know one old guy's name there. He was old, and they used to be a house right there next to it, and the preacher lived in that house. We tore the house down. Me and Luke Hall tore it down.
Well, now was it on the same side as the street as the church was?
Yeah. Between the church and poor Ophiola's house.
Right.
And it would house something similar to my house. Built something similar to what my 2-story house was.
So you and Imogene started out in the little house, and then you bought the big house.
We started out renting, and I got married. Then I had a flat top. That's the flat top. That's
Right.
I had it moved, bought it from the guy here, Junction. Bought from him, and he moved in and said, "Come there." And I lived in that. And when Imogene, all her brothers, sisters, her mother and daddy both